Welcome back to the D1Softball podcast, part of the Learfield family and Varsity Network. I'm Jenna with the best co-host of all time, Amanda Lorenz. But before we jump in, a quick reminder that when you're out of town and you want to keep up with live college sports, be sure to download the free Varsity Network app, available for both Apple and Android. Get your games on the go with the Varsity Network app. And we have more games on the go for us to take a look at, Amanda. I don't know about you, but I definitely had a softball hangover after this past weekend.
But also, like, I was sad because we were just filled with so many good games. I was like craving more of the good games. I was like, give me more. I want to keep watching. I felt like I was sitting on my couch all weekend long.
Totally. Yes. It was like, we need a little hair of the dog here. All of a sudden it was Monday yes. And we didn't have any more games.
Yes.
But we will soon, which is exciting. So today's lineup, we'll start with a regionals recap, plenty to talk about, of course. Then we'll touch on a super regionals preview, and then the interview for today with Liberty's own Rachel Roupe. We are so excited for. And then, of course, our plays of the week and our win and whiff of the week. All right. I think we're ready. We're ready to get right in.
We're ready.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? I feel like we have to start with the number 1 overall seed and what happened down in College Station.
You're so right. You're right. We have to start at the top. The first ever number 1 seed to go down in the regional round. At the same time, Liberty doing that to the Aggies, their first ever super regional as a program. So just history all around. Totally. And one of the more stressful regionals I think I've ever watched in my life. I don't know if you agree.
Oh, absolutely. I felt like I had such a pit in my stomach the whole time of just both sides. Like, you could feel that Liberty was probably going to do it. And then also just the heartbreak for the number 1 seed to end their season sooner than they had hoped and how they have worked for. So, as my freshman year, we were the number 1 seed and lost the super regional to Georgia and Gainesville. And it was really heartbreaking, feeling like you worked so hard all year and earned the number 1 seed just to let it slip away from you in the postseason, specifically before reaching Oklahoma City. So I felt like my heart was hurting regardless of both ways, just like understanding the pain, but also like the excitement to see, Liberty do it was just so cool. But truly, like, congrats to Texas A&M on a fantastic year. Losing at this point in the season does not negate anything that you have done. Although it's so heartbreaking, it's only going to fuel the fire for next year.
Especially with their culture as a program. I mean, we talked with Trisha Ford last year. I played for Trisha Ford when she was on staff at Stanford. This is, fuel for the fire is literally all it's going to be for them moving forward. And some of their players that they have too, that they're even more fired up from this.
Totally. Yeah. But hey, we got to talk about the Liberty Flames.
Have to. You're right. Where do we start with that?
I mean, I'm just so impressed with them walking into the number 1 seed and putting it to them. Being their offense really showed up against an elite pitcher that is Emily Kennedy, and just the way that they acted like they were the number 1 seed, like, it was just so. I just hate even calling it parody. Honestly, I just feel like our sport has grown so much. Like, I've seen, people on Twitter being like, what is it now? Like, is it the technology? Is it mid-majors are just caring more? Like, what is it? No, I don't think anybody cares more. I just think our sport is more talented. Yeah. I think that now we don't have the, more all of the talent going towards the Power 4 schools. There's too much talent now. Like, somebody has to go to a mid-major. Somebody has to do all these things. And it's showing in the postseason now with these exciting regionals. Like, regionals used to be boring. I'm sorry. Like, regionals used to not be as fun. It was like, okay, like, we're just using this for some reps for a super regional. Like, it was not like there were any questions usually. Now there's questions. Like, it's definitely like you have to show up and play your best softball to get out of these regionals. And it is just beautiful for our sport. Like, it's so awesome. The game does not know who is supposed to win. That's for sure. And it's so evident with so many of the regionals this year.
Absolutely. There were 3 number 4 seeds within regionals that made it to the regional finals. 4 seeds, right? Mercer in Gainesville, Santa Barbara and LA, and then of course Southeastern Louisiana and Baton Rouge. And then add into that too, North Florida was a number 3 seed that went to the regional final in Columbia. So from all of that, even just that process, right? We're used to seeing just 1 and 2 seeds really battling it out in the regional final, but not this year, to your point.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jenna, because I know you usually know this. Mercer, UCSB, and UNF, it was their first time reaching a regional final as well.
I think that's right.
Okay. Yeah. And Mercer and UNF, it was their first postseason. Period.
Yes.
So, right? I mean, I feel like we're going off track a little bit, but like so exciting for those programs. Like just, I got chills thinking about it, and it was just so much fun to watch because, like I said, regionals used to be a little boring. Not anymore, ladies and gentlemen, not anymore.
It's true. And when we talked with Joe Evans, even from Santa Barbara, on the live selection show special that we did, it's not a surprise, right? Under her leadership, what they've been able to do and how they've been able to trend in the right direction. But just getting a glimpse into all of these teams and what their mindset is, which we'll get to a little bit as well with Rachel Roupe today.
Yes.
It's so intriguing to me because so much of this is mental, like we talk about all the time, versus just executing physically. How do you even get there? Well, that's through the mental game. And that seems to be getting stronger across the board too.
Absolutely. Yep. So,
but that's
huge props to Liberty.
Right?
Like, I cannot wait. I'm so excited that we get to watch this group compete for another weekend, at least.
Oh, yeah. And I think everyone is invested, in them at this point. Like, any softball fan is like, oh my gosh, look what they've done. Can they keep it going? Just rooting for them to keep breaking more barriers, keep making more history.
Yep.
Very true. Well, 4 unseeded teams also made it out of regionals. In addition to Liberty, Nebraska, Ole Miss, and Georgia. So from that side of the house too, what's interesting, if we look at LSU, that was another upset, of course, if you're looking at the seedings that come into it. Number 10 overall, we knew that it could be interesting. Nobody wanted Nebraska in their regional if they were hosting. They didn't even play Nebraska because Southeastern Louisiana just showed up and showed out.
Yeah, that was insane. I was definitely not expecting that. Lots of question marks with the LSU Tigers. I think just too talented to not even reach a regional final. Number 1. Yeah. Number 2, Southeastern just absolutely playing like they deserve to be there and so fearless. And then hearing Coach Freeman's interview post game of the second win against LSU, just so proud of his kids and the way that they've competed, but he just seemed so proud and like totally letting them have the moment. And but also he seemed like he knew that they could do it, which was like the coolest thing. He did not seem shocked. Like, he just seemed really proud that they were able to execute their plan and show up when it mattered the most. And I feel like we talked about this regional, like so excited to see Nebraska and LSU go head to head. And the fact that we did not even see that matchup is really crazy to me. Like, I want to be so clear that I'm not taking anything away from Southeastern. Like, I loved watching them play. They totally acted like they earned the opportunity to be there. They knew that they could compete with the best of them, and it showed. But like, LSU, what? Like, I am, and there were some mistakes where they had the opportunity to like seize games back and win. And this one is going to hurt for a long time because it was right there and they're way too talented I feel like for a lot of the season too, there was, especially early on, like they might have even been top 5 in our rankings for a little bit. Started off the season really hot, but I feel like a lot of the times that's how LSU is. They start super hot and then they start riding this wave and dwindling down when it matters the most. Like that, and that's been consistent for a long time in their program, which is like wild considering the fans that they have, like how, like, and they're just so talented. They're so talented every year that you can like know that they can beat anybody on any given day. So it is like very confusing.
It is.
And I want to know, like, why does that keep happening to them? Like they are too good for that to keep happening.
I agree with you. They do tend to peak a little bit early. They're one of the last teams standing in terms of being undefeated earlier this year.
Yeah.
And then, yes, like here we are. I don't know. Is it maybe running into the SEC grind? Is it, what are those factors? Obviously something that they're going to evaluate in the off season too.
Someone way smarter than me is going to evaluate it and figure it out for sure.
Above our pay grade. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm just a fan. I just like to watch, but as someone who like loves to watch talented hitters and talented pitchers and a good defense, like they've been good. Like, it's not like they are, doing the best that they have with what they have. Like,
right.
That's not the case over there. I don't know.
Yeah. No, super interesting for sure. And then knowing that, which we'll get to when we talk super regionals, but Nebraska and Tennessee, I think, is fascinating as a matchup too. So it's going to be good.
So locked in, so fun.
Yes. That was the other thing too, though. So many game 7s, like the if necessary game for regionals. My goodness, 5 game 7s. Yes. Obviously Liberty and A&M, duh. But even like Auburn, Florida State, Ole Miss, Arizona, Georgia, Duke, some that maybe flew under the radar a little bit because they weren't so dramatic to the same level. And then of course, Stanford, Oregon, where when everybody was done watching Liberty, A&M, that's where they switched the channel because that was down to the wire too.
Gosh, yes. Let's talk about Stanford, Oregon, Jenna. Let's talk about it. Wow.
Yeah. That's the right word, I think.
Yeah. Wow is right. Like after, the first winter bracket game of Stanford versus Oregon, I was like, wow, Stanford, you can speak to this obviously way more than I can, but Stanford is in the driver's seat. Stanford's offense came, they showed up.
Yeah. Yeah. And they still did throughout, especially in game 3 too.
Oh, yeah.
The offense showed up.
Yes.
But it was, fascinating, right? There's so many storylines there too, where it's former Pac-12 rivals, very familiar with each other, and including Stanford being familiar with the environment that is there in Eugene is intense. But it was so interesting to see the pendulum swing so extremely in both ways. It's like, okay, 14-1 run rule for Stanford, 15-5 run rule for Oregon, both in 6 innings. And then game 3 is down to the wire. We're tied 7-7 in the 7th, but there were almost 2,500 fans too. And that environment, I felt like you could feel it through the screen, similar to Liberty and A&M, where you're like, oh yeah, I can tell that environment is definitely next level.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like it was so, you could hear the fans, like you could hear the excitement. I agree. Like it was really fun to watch. That's how regionals should be.
Yeah. Yeah, really, truly. And yes, because Stanford did stay in the winning bracket, they had the control going into that last day. I think a key for them, though, when they did get that first win against Oregon, is they kept the Lushar sisters off the base paths pretty well.
Yeah.
And they're so fast. Geez, like over 50 stolen bases for Kai Lushar, a career year overall offensively for Kedra Lushar. And they were able to do that. That makes all the difference because Oregon's so fast. They just have a need for speed. That, and then they chased Lindsey Grine out of the game 3 times, actually, which was pretty crazy to think about because we had her on the show and she's elite. We know that.
So impressive. Yes.
Yes. So forcing multiple pitching changes. I think everyone was talking about freshman Joey Economidis with her grand slam and then her 3-run home run and being responsible for all 7 runs in that one. She has 15 home runs as a freshman now. Pretty impressive. But ultimately, once Oregon started getting some of those runners on, the Lushar started getting on a lot on that last day, and they had the timely hits. I would say Paige Sinicki stealing base hits left and right. Like her defense is awesome. There's no doubt why she was a Gold Glover. And she's having a career offensive year too. So then all of a sudden she adds even more spark to their lineup. They're a tough team. And I think they have a little chip on their shoulder too, because, you know, they did win the Big Ten regular season, barely slid in there to host for regionals. And I think this was a huge confidence boost for them actually too.
100%. And I feel especially the game 6, when Taryn Kern rips that ball, unfortunately hits Riley McCoy in the face. Obviously she had to exit the game, and to see how much like that rocked her teammates were visibly upset. But able to pull it together, and like it I think that was like a huge shift and reason why they won the game, honestly, was just the way that they were able to like look each other in the eyes and be like, nope, we got this for her. Like it gives me chills, like looking at Lindsey Grind, like visibly emotional, and then like check herself and look at all of her teammates, like we got this, was really cool. Like you could sense their togetherness and the way that like they were going to win this game. And Riley was going to have another opportunity to compete if she's able to, and if she's healthy, of course. That was like a huge shift. And you would think it would be the other way around, right? Like Taryn Kern rips a ball, like smokes it. And Oregon quickly, like it made them go from this. They already looked tight. They already looked ready to compete. They already looked like a together group. Like they just meshed even more. Like let's go. They were so locked in with figuring out a way to win the game. And so that was a big key actually for me, was just to see their response to such a sad moment. But have since heard on social media that she issued a statement and that she's feeling okay, and hopefully she's going to be out there as soon as possible and feeling okay. So we're so happy to hear that, first of all.
Number one, absolutely.
Yeah. There was a lot of blood. It looked a little scary there.
Yeah, when she came off the field, it was like, oof. And you could feel the silence. Yeah. No, I think you're so right though. And they're not, unfortunately, in terms of the injury part, unfamiliar with that. You know, in the last couple of years, they had that happen to another player too. And in Arizona, actually, and the staff at Arizona, I know they gave a lot of credit to them too for helping out, as well as, of course, the Oregon staff and the athletic trainers and everything. But that's that, like, that's that mental edge that, like, I'm talking. I think this is when that type of thing is exposed, right? Like whether it's your culture and how your team comes together, how strong you are mentally, all of those things. This is the time of year that all comes to.
You said it, Jenna. I think that's the key, is like what I've loved about this version of Oregon, like now that Coach Lombardi has taken over, is the culture piece. Like you said it just feels like it's so dialed in. Like it might have taken, it wasn't instant where she came in and she didn't inherit all of these players. Like she has grinded to really create the culture that she's wanted at this program to last. Like, and she's gotten players that buy in, that fit the culture, that have only enhanced the culture. She's has a tremendous, like, all female staff who buy into her culture. And so that's infectious. And obviously when you do it the right way, it's going to last longer and you're going to experience the fruits of all that labor. Like, and it's going to mean a little bit more. And I feel like that's what it seemed like all year watching this team. It seems like this is the first year that like all of the pieces are coming together that her teams before, like since she's taken over, they've worked so hard to create this stable culture. And it's just been keep climbing and climbing and climbing. And obviously we're not in the room. We're not in the meetings. We're not in the practices. So I don't think we can fully grasp how amazing it is. But as a fan, as a viewer, like it's really fun to watch. Like it really looks like they are very much a cohesive group, and she's building a culture that she's really proud of.
I totally agree. And I'm so glad you brought up the staff because yes, Sydney Romero, Alyssa Palomino Cardoza, Sam Martyr. What?
Yeah.
like that's amazing.
Yeah.
What other influence do you want?
BAs that I want to play for, like strong women who have been there and done that. They know the grind and they're workers. Like they will do anything for the people standing next to them to make this thing happen and make this thing go. So yeah, I mean, couldn't say enough, like love.
I remember asking Missy Lombardi about that too. And she had said she really thought through, like, I do want people who have different elite level experiences.
Mm.
So yes, Romero coming from Oklahoma, Palomino Cardoza coming from Arizona, and then Sam Marder having played at Ohio State. At the time, those are three different conferences when they all played, right? So being able to bring all that perspective, it's so crucial. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just awesome. I just think we are in we're in for such a treat for this super regional in Eugene. Like I can, as a softball fan, it's a win-win. Like whoever comes out of this super, it's going to be really fun to watch. And I'm so excited. Like the Jane looked like it was rocking this weekend. So I'm really excited for those fans that they're going to be able to host another weekend. And I can't wait to watch.
Oh, same. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. And there were, I mean, we talked about all the action and all the drama that were in regionals, but there were a few regionals where there was some pretty dominant performances. OU, Florida, UCLA, all run ruling all of their games to just run right through the winner's bracket. Nebraska also going right through the winner's bracket, but those three with the run rules feeling really confident. I mean, that's OU and Florida get to host again. UCLA on the road, though, next. So that's going to be an interesting challenge for them, too. But it was interesting. We have those happening, but then we have the Liberty A&M, the Stanford Oregon's regionals all at the same time.
Yeah, no, perfectly put. I think that the thing that I saw a tweet that this was Florida's first time ever run ruling all three opponents at a regional. So if you think about how dominant some of their teams have been in the past, right? Like,
totally.
Like Florida has had some really good teams. And obviously this team is still writing their story and can obviously be once in that realm, right? And for this to be the first time, like, and it's not like they had an easy walk at all, but just quickly want to shout out to Lindsay Fico and the Mercer Bears in their first ever postseason, their first ever regional, making the regional championship, doing it at her alma mater. Playing against her former coach. Like I just, obviously she wants to win, but I can't think of a more perfect, memory for you to bring your team to the place that you gave everything to. And she stayed in Gainesville after. She was a coach at Santa Fe, which is the local junior college. And so she has roots in Gainesville. So I just can imagine like that was extremely special for her and her family and her program to go there and then to make a regional final, like just amazing. Like obviously you want to win. Like and she did. She won a few games there. But made the championship. Like just so happy for her and her program. And I just am so happy that she got to do it in Gainesville against Coach Walton. Just so cool. I just love those moments. Obviously those are my people, so it means it's a little sweeter for me, but just so cool to like see the video of them hugging at home plate, and just so happy for Coach Lindsay Fico and the amazing year that she's had and like what she's doing down in Mercer.
She's such a great example, though. Like we're talking about the rise of mid-majors a lot, right? That's one of the narratives. Well, look at the type of people who are going to coach these programs, right? And the experiences that they have, let alone the relationships and everything too, and what they've learned, and now they get to apply it at these programs. Like that's such a great example of that. On top of all of the personal and sentimental pieces that you mentioned too. I mean, it builds those types of things. I think just build up the community even more.
Yeah. So special and so cool. Just, gosh, it's hard. Like, and then I was like, I wasn't like completely torn. Like, obviously I wanted the Gators to win, but like, there was part of me, I was like, gosh, I want Mercer to reach like, I was like rooting for them the whole time. Like so fun.
Yeah. I mean, all of these teams really that we saw compete for the most part bring things to the table where it's hard not to root for them,
Totally. Great point, Jenna. And especially now, like us talking to them and like interviewing some of these amazing athletes and getting to know them more as people than just as, as the athletes that we see. It's like so much fun rooting for these humans, not just athletes, but like them as people.
100%. 100%, which is always a good reminder too. I know fans, and we love fans that love softball, of course, but it's a good reminder. Like these are 18 to 22, 23-year-olds who are competing. They're student athletes.
Yeah.
And there's so much to them as people in addition to who they are on the field. So I so agree with you. We love seeing a glimpse into that every time we get to talk to them.
Yeah. And like they're doing their best.
Yeah.
They're doing their best. And trust me, they want to win way more than you want them to win.
Correct.
They put in a lot of time. They work really hard along with all the coaches and the staff. It's their life. Like it's not a normal job. It's not a normal, like these athletes and these coaches, the staff, this is their life and their livelihood. And they work really freaking hard and they want to win way more than you ever. And you think you might be the number one fan in America and you want to win more than anything. They want to win more. So, hey, totally great opportunity to be like, these are people and they're doing their best.
Yes. 1,000%. I'm just like thinking through all the regionals again. Gosh, there's so many.
Duke and Georgia, and then Ole Miss, Arizona were others that I had written down, of just the fact that Duke obviously wins that first winner's game by a score of 8-1. Duke comes back and beats Coastal. They come back for day 3, so game 6, and Duke wins that pretty handedly on a score of 8-1. So then they have to go for game 7, and we were in for a treat. Ends up going 8 innings. Georgia comes away with the win. I had this one circled. I just feel like Georgia was better than the way that they played all year long. That they're, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they won one SEC series. Like I think they went through and obviously the SEC is an extremely tough conference, but I don't think they walked away with one series win.
They were definitely sub 500. Yeah.
I do not think that accurately showed the fight. It was a lot of them were by like 1-run games and heartbreakers. So they showed up when it mattered in a regional, and now they're heading down to Gainesville. And I know that they're having a lot of fun talking about the history of Georgia going down to Gainesville for a super regional. So makes my chest tighten a little bit. I have some PTSD. I was actually in the dugout for both times that they went down to Gainesville for a super regional. And both times the Georgia Bulldogs walked away with a trip to Oklahoma City. So, not fun, a little PTSD for me personally. But I'm praying, there's no PTSD for the Gators right now. I think that they're feeling pretty confident and ready to roll, but pretty crazy. Like here's another storyline. But just know Georgia loves to go down to Gainesville and win a super regional. They love that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, is it a classic matchup in a super regional, too. I know you're like, I don't know if I'd use the word classic. Your perspective.
It is classic, but also, heart wrenching. So new fans who don't remember, Georgia took out the number 1 seed in 2016. We went 0-2. We did not even win a game, did not even force a game 3. And then again in 2021, Georgia went down to Gainesville and again won both games, didn't even force a game 3. So, we'll see if third time is the charm for the Gators.
We'll see. I know you're putting that energy out there for them.
I am. Sure. Like I'm putting all the energy. Like it doesn't matter. Like go Gators. You guys got this. But I also want it to be known, I love Coach Tony Baldwin, and I always root for him. I love him. Always will root for him, except this weekend. Coach Tony, I'm sorry.
You have always said that, though. I'm even us talking about Georgia as a program last year on the show and just in general. You've always said that. Jenna. Yep. Backing you up. I got you.
Thanks. What else?
Should we get into Super Regionals preview? Because, let's do it.
Let's do it. It's here.
It is here. And you already really nailed it, I think, with the Georgia-Florida situation that we're going to see this weekend. We talked a little bit about like Liberty, Oregon, how excited we are for those. One other one too, Ole Miss and Arkansas. So cool because either way, it'll be their first Women's College World Series. So out of that super. That's really cool.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So cool for both programs.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Yes.
Gives me chills.
Right. Well, 3 SEC head-to-heads too, but obviously those 2, Georgia, Florida, but then Alabama, Oklahoma as well, which that's interesting too, because, okay, Alabama did take the series from Oklahoma this year in the SEC, despite OU, of course, being the SEC champs. They'll go to Norman though, and it should be, I don't know. That as somebody who has played Alabama in a super too, like I think about PTSD as well, so I'm glad that we're both, sharing our mental health struggles right now. But it's tough. Like they are so scrappy. Like I think back to Montana Fouts, just like willing the team a couple of years ago to get to the Women's College World Series. Obviously Oklahoma, come on, 4-peat. We know what they have to bring to the table, not just from a talent perspective, because it is a largely new roster, but just also from the idea of that championship mindset that we've always talked about with Natty Patty, right? She's Natty Patty for a reason. But I still think that could be a really interesting one. Just all of when you meet as conference foes in the postseason, it just hits a little bit different, like you said already.
Yep. Yeah, I'm so excited for these matchups. Obviously, I feel like we always get some SEC matchups, which aren't as exciting. Obviously, you like to see like some new faces. Like really excited about the Florida State Texas Tech matchup. Like that is going to be an awesome one. Like to see Nyjah go up against such a great Florida State team is going to be fun. But honestly, like I'm really excited about UCLA, South Carolina. Like
Same.
I am like if you told us in November that the UCLA Bruins were going to head to Columbia, South Carolina for a super regional, like I would have been like, what? Like that doesn't even seem right on paper for like our old softball brains, but no, it's real. And South Carolina has earned that top 8 seeding, and it's going to be fun. Like, this is South Carolina's first time in a super in a while. Not so old. Like they went, I think, played at Arizona State. I don't remember for a super regional. I don't remember what year, but since I've been in college, so not like too long. Not too long, but it's been a while, and new staff and a lot of new faces. So it's gonna feel like there's the heart is gonna be pumping a little bit. And UCLA, these athletes have been there, done that. Like this is what they do. It's a little weird for them not to be hosting, but they know how to win. And they've had the Big Ten travel schedule this year, so they also know how to travel. So I don't think it's going to be that crazy anymore to like travel totally across the country to play. They've done that this year, so I don't think it's going to be that crazy. Really excited about that one. That's going to be fun.
I totally agree, and you're right. It's like obviously an alum of the program, but her first year as a head coach back at this program versus this like veteran postseason presence. And lucky for us, we got to talk with head coach Ashley Chastain on the pod earlier this season, and Megan Grant and Jordan Woolery from UCLA. So we did get kind of that inside look into just how they operate and how they think and their personalities. And the fact that it's 2 head coaches leading their alma maters. Of course, Kelly Inouye Perez has been there for a long time now, and Ashley Chastain's new back there. It's still, the pride runs deep. It's a little different in a really interesting way. So I'm excited for it too.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun to watch. Any other ones that stand out to you?
I'm so glad you brought up Texas Tech and Florida State, because I too cannot wait. I mean, who doesn't want to see Nyjah Kennedy thrown against Florida State's offense? But I also think it's the first time that Texas Tech is facing an ACC team this year. Ooh. So there's not a lot of familiarity just in general between those two.
Fun.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see, how the scouting reports go, how the preparation is, what's the game plan, both sides. So that should be interesting too.
You're so right. That's a good call. And that's what's fun also about I love those matchups the most, because it's like looks a little weird. Like you're not used to seeing those teams match up. Yeah. But that's what's so fun about the postseason. Like I like when it's not as familiar.
Totally. That's what makes it. You're right. That's exactly right. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more there. But actually some different type of familiarity too. Clemson, Texas, is also an interesting one to me. It's Battle of the Orange, I guess you could think about it, the burnt versus the Clemson Orange. But the head coaches with John Rittman at Clemson and then Mike White at Texas, they have familiarity with each other from the Pac-12 days, from when Rittman was at Stanford, White was at Oregon, and Mike White's daughter, Nairi, even played at Stanford. She was a freshman when I was a senior. So just knowing the style of play from each other, as well as maybe there's some rivalry there, right? That's been there for a long time because they're used to playing against each other. I think that adds another element too. So that should be interesting.
Totally. And excited to see, like, we didn't talk much about like Texas's regional or Clemson's, but I was at a few games for the Clemson regional. Really fun. Like, we had talked to some Clemson gals last week on the podcast, but we talked about the atmosphere and just how awesome it was. It was definitely going from an atmosphere that really wants you to win to an atmosphere that really wants you to lose. So it's going to be, but another great atmosphere. It's going to be really cool to see Clemson go out to Austin. I'm really excited for that matchup. I think that Clemson has done a great job. They've like really been riding the high towards the end of the season. They've been really like chasing their peak, which is the best that you that's all you want, right? Of your whole season. You want to reach the peak towards the end of the season. And it really feels like they're heading there, not reaching the peak yet, which is even better. And it doesn't feel that way for Texas, but they are so talented. They are so talented. They have an incredible pitching staff. Like they definitely have the pieces to make a run at this national championship. But will they be able to play their best softball to beat Clemson? I think that is definitely a question. So it's going to be, I think if we looked at this matchup early on in the season, we would have been like, oh, Texas, easy. Like, this is such an easy matchup for Texas, right?
Early on. Yeah.
Early on, like Clemson started the season 3-6. I would have said that they were probably not going to be playing in a super regional.
Right.
Okay. And to say now, like, they are playing their best softball and look like a completely different team. And, there was a time where we thought Texas was going to be undisputed, the number one team in the country, and it hasn't been like that. So I think like it's going to make for a really competitive weekend and something that we definitely didn't see early on in the year.
Yeah. I think you're so right. There's so many layers to each of these.
Sure.
And it's sometimes it's crazy. It's so fun. And it's crazy to think about. It's like they only have, a few days to prepare.
Oh yeah. Especially for those ones starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like it is such a disadvantage.
Yeah.
I'll say it. It's such a disadvantage, like especially some of the late nights, like you don't know who you're going to play. And then you also need to recover from like 3 games, sometimes more if you came from the losers bracket or had to like play an extra game. So yeah, it's a lot on your bodies. And yeah, most of the schools don't have school to think about. But some do.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot going on. And yeah, starting Thursday, and you have your NCAA practice Wednesday. So that means for these teams traveling in, like and Thursday start time, they left today.
Yep.
So you are hoping to get in like a good practice at your own fields and then get on the road. But yeah, no, it's a lot. It's definitely a disadvantage to start on Thursday, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Because I think about it too, and even in some of the regionals, this is the time of year where you're used to playing so many games and you do get less like practice reps in just by the nature of travel and everything you're saying. So, but the fundamentals I feel like come into play a lot. Like there are those moments sometimes in games where it's like, who's going to make the first mistake can sometimes be what determines the outcome. Like defense, like just the small things or being heads up in certain situations, but just like the basic reps, seeing the ball in and out of your glove, all of those types of fundamentals. This is when that part gets a little bit challenging sometimes. Like you have to stick with that and get back to that a little bit, but you don't always have the time, like you're saying. So it's trying to balance it all is really tough.
Yeah, and it's going to be on full display. Like that's where these elite coaches take over and do such a great job of making sure that's where the experience comes in of just like been there, done that, of like knowing that how important those little things are and making sure that you can get those things done before you go.
Yeah, that's very true too. And some of these teams that went to the if necessary game in their regional, they basically ended up playing a 3-game series against their opponent in a lot of situations. Maybe a doubleheader though in one day, of course, for game 6 and 7. So I think that's challenging in terms of how quickly can you adjust. But there's some preparation there because the super regional is almost like that 3-game series. I mean, you try to get it done in 2, right? But obviously the high level competition makes it tough. So it's playing the same opponent over and over. So in a way, it's like, of course, you'd rather be more rested, and everyone wants to roll through regionals if you can, like OU and Florida and, some of these teams. But that is one thing where I'm like, the battle tested part, you can use that to your advantage, even if you're a little tired.
Yes.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm just so excited. I'm like looking at the schedule and I'm like, oh gosh, there's so many amazing matchups that are coming up. One we briefly mentioned earlier, but we haven't dug into yet. Nebraska, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordy Ball head to head with Carlin Pickens, that possibility in Knoxville.
Let's go.
Chef's kiss for the softball
I can't wait.
And Jordy is just on a tear offensively too. Like 4 home runs, I think, in the regional. She got up to bat 12 times, got on 12 times. Like, she's just firing on all cylinders.
Player of the year behavior. National Player of the Year behavior.
Yeah, truly. Her, Nyjah, and Briellis. All 3 different conferences, too, for the 3 finalists for National Player of the Year, which I think speaks
so cool.
very
And
highly
honestly,
to our sport.
my hitter heart, like, I'm a huge Briellis fan.
Course.
As well. I'm a huge Nyjah fan. I'm a huge softball fan.
You love all of them. Yeah.
But as a hitter, I always want a hitter, like a true hitter, to come home with the award for sure. But it's hard to say that that's not Jordy too. Like, Jordy has been so consistent and such like an feared hitter this year, as well as what she's been able to do in the circle. Like, that's really hard, like, for me not to say that she has to be the National Player of the Year. If I got a vote, it'd be Jordy.
Right. And that's a hot take right there too. Or that's like, put that on.
I hope it's not too hot, but like,
well, not a hot take.
They are so incredible. And I like, especially Bree, the hitter in me is hurting saying that, Bree. Like, I'm hurting. And you might need to like put that arm in the circle a few times this weekend, and then you have a better shot. But like, these pitchers be killing us. Like, we need a pitcher of the year award, and
we do
player of the
straight
year
up
award, because
straight up
it's like so hard to compete against that. Like, Bree's like, what else can I do? I have like 300 home runs on the season, and I'm like, you need 30 wins in the circle as well.
Yeah.
And then you can talk. But gosh, she's had such an insane year. Like,
she does have like 20 or so amazing memes as well that we've gotten from this season. Like, Briellis, entertainer, here for it. Yeah. You're right though. That. Oh my God, me too. Cause she's like having fun, right? And that's also what it's about.
So fun.
But you're right. It's like Briellis has been probably the best hitter in the country.
Yep.
Nyjah's probably been the best pitcher in the country. But that means Jordy's also been like right there with both. Maybe right behind them, maybe right with them. It's so hard. Totally. It's so hard.
Yeah. No wrong choice.
Yeah, that's true. They're all elite. We know that. And we know Nyjah obviously won it last year. Yep. So back-to-back would be really next level, especially doing it at 2 different programs for her, if that happens.
Has anyone ever done that?
I don't think so. We'll look into that, but that's a great point, because I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Wow. History left, right, and center.
Yeah.
With this. Man. Well, overall, too, for the super teams, not surprising, like we said, multiple SEC on SEC matchups. So 9 SEC teams, 3 Big Ten teams. Shout out to the Big Ten after getting a record 8 into the tournament. 2 ACC teams, a Big 12, and of course, Conference USA with Liberty. Very
so
cool.
Fun. I cannot wait to watch. Like, I'm just so excited, and this has been a really fun postseason so far.
Totally. And I think you and I specifically loved watching our guest today.
Yes. Perfect.
Rachel Roupe. Yes. She's so amazing. So let's just head right into it. We are thrilled to welcome in our guest today, Rachel Roupe from Liberty Softball. And I can't even imagine really the feelings and emotions that are going through you right now. So first, after making all this history, I guess maybe let's start with how are you doing and how's the team's mindset? How was the trip home even after regionals?
I mean, it's still like a surreal moment. We're still trying to process everything, but like the team, everyone's just so excited and ecstatic. I think after the game, like none of us really went to bed till like 4 in the morning, and then we had to catch our flight at like 9. So like very low sleep. A lot of people are a little sore, but we're out here today at practice, kind of getting loose again, getting ready for this weekend. But everyone's super excited.
Yes, just first, congratulations. Like,
Thank
we
you.
are so excited for you. And it was just so much fun to watch you guys go into to College Station, the #1 overall seed, and just play with this fearlessness. Like, it was just so much fun to watch you guys definitely not act like the underdog or like you were trying to advance to your first super regional. Talk about that. Just talk about how this sense of acting like you guys know that you're supposed to be there and you've earned this opportunity.
Yeah, I think, well, prior to going to College Station, we were fully aware of the atmosphere we were going to be in, adjusting to a much better strike zone than what we were doing with the conference. So, like, we were kind of getting all like the mental preparation in before we got there. And our coaches were just like, the only way that you get out of this regional is if you go down there and you believe in yourself and you believe in what we've been training you guys since August. And so we were all like, let's do it. Like, I think the first, like when we heard our name called to Texas A&M, we're like, oh my gosh, like, okay, lovely. But then they like sat in and we're like, you know what, we're going to do it. And we're just going to like go out, give it our best shot. And I think the preparation up to it was more so like a lot of mindset, like I would say. Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense. It
Yeah.
does. And I see that confidence you're talking about in you specifically. Let's talk about dingers, right? You hit multiple.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I honestly, when they told me I had an interview, like I was out of body during that. So I was like, I'm just gonna say whatever comes to mind. And I was like, I hit dingers. I don't know. Like that was what came to my head. So but yeah, that was I feel like our coaches do a really good job of our schedule. So being able to like compete against those teams and then like we're playing their regional, yes, but just staying poised and like trusting myself because I've performed at that level before, like at UCLA and just our schedule in general. So I tried not to make it bigger and was like, okay, I'm just gonna be me.
Yeah, I loved it. I think the first part of that quote, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but just like, why should I feel this pressure? Like I work way too hard to feel this pressure. And it was so beautiful. I feel like every young softball player watching that and hearing those words, even the I hit dingers part, like it's just so great for especially the young ones to hear like there's a lot of pressure, right? You're at the number one's house. Like you're playing in the regional that you definitely were not supposed to come out of. But the work stays the same. Like, you're so prepared. So just to hear that and to hear that you believe it, because there's one thing that we can say those things when we're looking ourselves in the mirror, right? But it's another thing to actually believe it and show it on the biggest stage. So talk about that as well, of just like what you've done to get yourself to this state that you can believe in yourself no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, our coaches just in general, like they've played at the highest level. And so like our practices are extremely intense. We've had girls transfer in from like, I guess, Power 4 schools now, by the time Power 5 schools, and they're like, you guys practice hard. Like this is hard. So like I think that we do such a good job of making the practices way harder than the game that like when we step in the box and like when we're facing some like their caliber of pitcher, like Kennedy, like we're like, okay, we got this. Like we haven't faced her and we know that she's very effective, but like our confidence going into it was like, we're going to keep it simple, play our game. And I think that when you try to get outside of yourself, like you don't play your best. And like everyone always resorts to their lowest form of training. So if our training is super high all the time, it's like, okay, in my most pressure moments, I'm going to resort to some of the highest training that I've done. So like that was a lot of confidence for us.
And you mentioned your leadership, your coaching staff. Got to ask you about Dr. Dot. also. She's just incredible. We know what she's done for the game, but what she continues to do as well. And she's so high energy.
Oh yeah.
Talk more about her leadership.
Well, it's just funny because you go on your visits and you're like, is this how she is? Like, you know how some coaches kind of put on a little front and you're like, okay, like they want me here. But then like that is every single day. She has made it a point, like negativity is her biggest fear. And I'm like, I'm jealous that that's your biggest fear. Like, I don't like a lot of things. Like, I have some big fears and it's not negativity. So like that alone speaks volumes of who she is. And like, she's just such a competitor and she believes in us far more than we'll ever believe in ourselves. Like she thinks that we can do anything in the world. And so like having a coach behind you that believes that in you and like it's just amazing as a player, especially in college, like the pressure you're already having and like the environment and the willingness to like produce for your team. But like you have a coaching staff behind you that's like, she's going to do it. Like it's fine. Like that's a lot of relief off. But she's amazing. I'm sure you've seen it in like interviews and everything. Like she's just an awesome person.
I love it so much. And obviously, you guys have been knocking at the door of doing this for a number of years. I mean, Liberty is definitely not the program that a host is going to want in their regional, just with the way that you guys have played. Your program has been an elite program for a long time. You have elite facilities. You guys play the game the right way. Georgia last year, correct? It was like so close to punching the ticket to the super regional last year. Just talk about like, was there a little bit of a sense of relief, like finally doing it for the first time, or was it just pure joy?
It was relief. Like it literally, like when I saw her swing and miss, I was like, we did it. We finally did it. Like it was like more so like I was just like, I just don't even remember. I saw her pitcher standing there. And I'm like coming from right field. Like I'm trying to sprint to be the first person to hug her because nobody, she was just standing there like this. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it was insane. It was more so just a relief because like you're seeing your work pay off and like you come so close and like every regional, I mean, from my freshman year, we were in the Duke regionals, us in Georgia. We had beat Georgia, but like I was a freshman, I was like kind of new to it, like whatever. And then you go out and you beat UCLA the next year, and you're like, okay. Then the next year, you're 1 out away from winning, and then you're like in the same situation again that same day, and we're like, okay, we've been here before. It's one pitch, and then we finally executed it. So it was more so like, oh, it took us a year to finally feel that relief, but we did it. Yeah.
And I remember that regional at UCLA also with a bunch of Bruins, your coach, but then even like Stacey Newman at San Diego State. It was a bunch of former Bruins, and it was fun to watch for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
It was a lot of fun. I think that like being sent there, we're like, oh my gosh, but like, and we were more excited about it compared to like this selection show because we're like, wait, we won conference, but other than that, that was also another crazy regional.
Yeah. Do you guys think about the mid-major representation? That's something that people talk about, they're excited about with watching you as a program and seeing what you did. But for you all, you just said it, people will transfer in from power schools and they're like, wow, you guys really practice hard.
Yeah.
So is that something that you even think about? Yeah.
I mean, we know we're a mid-major, but I think that our coaches surround us so much with like professionalism and like their information and the schedule and everything that we're like, yeah, we're mid-major, but we also like have a lot of respect for ourselves and our program. And like, we protect our culture so strong that like we're a mid-major representing, but we're like, we think that we should be here anyway kind of thing. We're like, okay, like whatever. But it's really cool to finally like see, because I think JMU was the last mid-major to be in a situation like this. And like I remember seeing them and watching them on TV when I was in high school. And I was like, wow, this is super awesome. So I think it's really cool to like represent the mid-majors in this situation. But it's definitely, we work super hard and like we see our program as bigger than a mid-major, but obviously you can't change the name on your jersey. So that's kind of what my take is on it.
You talked about the relief and representing the mid majors, but you guys are still playing. Like, you still have an opportunity to keep your season alive and make it to the Women's College World Series. So how do you now get your head straight, just to understand, like, you guys still need to prepare for a big weekend? Like, the season is far from over. So how do you recenter, like, after such an insane weekend of so many highs and a little bit of lows, but mostly highs, just to get yourself back down to know, like, we need to prepare so that we keep our minds on track?
Yeah, we had weights this morning, and our trainer was talking to us because he was like, you guys, these next couple of days have to practice as if you are still, like, if you're the worst team. Like, you have to come up, like, yes, we celebrate what happened, but, like, you turn it back on now. Like, we're back to grinding. We're, like, trying to ignore, like, the social media and everything going on. Like, we're back to where we were, like, where we haven't won a regionals. Like, we are in that mindset. And then the day before we start playing again, like, go watch your highlights. Like, get your mind right. Like, see, like, how good you can really be. And then, like, go out and perform. It's going to be a mindset thing for us, I think. I think we have the skills when we're all in all four cylinders, and we've proven that. And it's now like, okay, like, we have more history to be made, and we have more to accomplish. And, like, super regionals now is not our end goal. So that's that.
And you're used to competing in a hostile environment too. After this past weekend, intense fans. You have intense fans too, of course.
Yeah,
but doing that again.
Yeah. I loved it. Like, I love environments like that. I think that it's so cool to see, like, actual, like, people that invested in women's sports, and, like, to the point where they are screaming at us and, like, trying to make us fail. Like, it was so much fun. I know people don't always like that kind of environment, but, like, to see the sport in that way, and, like, wow, they actually care right now about, like, what we're doing, and they're here, like, that's huge. And so, like, I really enjoyed it. And so I really hope Oregon is just the same. I've never played there, but I hope it's like that.
It is. As someone who played there, it is.
Nice. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, right? To see, like, these fans so invested in our sport and so excited and so rowdy. It's like, you're right. It's an honor. It's so much fun to play in front of, because that's what you want, right? We've been wanting this for so long, like, for it to be consistent wherever you go, but especially in postseason, right? Like, you want the fans to be invested, like, and nothing better than winning on someone else's field if they have pretty rowdy fans winning on their field. Pretty freaking
like
sweet.
The home runs and the stands go silent.
Yes.
And you have, like, your small group of family that they gave you, like, 2 tickets, and they're, like, all going crazy. But it's like, it was like, it gives me chills. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, we're on this. Like, we got this. But yeah.
Yes. So talk about, like, that experience, how that's going to help you. Because I watched Oregon on TV this weekend, and their environment looked pretty awesome too. Like, so awesome for our game and so many fans. So talk about how, while I have not been to Oregon. So, but I will say I've played at A&M, and those fans can get pretty nasty pretty quick. So to the opponent, not to their own people.
Oh no.
How do you think that will help you going into another road weekend where you are 2 wins away from your first trip to the Women's College World Series?
Yeah, I mean, I think it, like, being in College Station and having those teams do that, like, we were like, okay, this is our team. Are we gonna fold and get scared, or are we gonna, like, play up to par? And I genuinely think that, like, it pushed us, like, the things that they were saying and just, like, basically degrading us every game, that every pitch, like, they did anything right, it was like you couldn't hear yourself think. Like, it was that rowdy. And so, like, we fed off of that, though. And I think that if we can go in this weekend and that team's chirping on us, knowing that, like, they don't want to see our program, like, beat them. Like, they're going to bring out, like, the first time we played Texas A&M, like, they were rowdy, but, like, not that bad. The day 2, like, completely different energy, completely different people there. Like, they knew that what was on the line. And so, like, I think our team just used that as energy. And so if we can, like, experience that and perform at that high level, going to Oregon and experiencing again, I think it's literally going to just push us to be like, let's shut these people up and let's do the job. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. But you, in your family too, you have a lot of cousins who either play or played college baseball. Does it ever get chippy with you guys?
It's more so just like supportive. Like the two people that are really invested, Matt Roupe and Luke Roupe. Luke's going to South Carolina this year coming up, and he's a pitcher. But I think like they're so invested in like watching my games and stuff that it's more so just supportive. And like all my cousins that did play, like they're just supportive. Like it's never like super chirpy or like, oh, I'm better than you, blah, blah. Like, no, it's like, hey, we're related. Like, let's keep putting the name on the map. Let's just keep doing it.
And you all hit dingers, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Luke hits dingers. The other ones were POs, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah.
But you hit dingers off of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I wish, because I want to face a baseball pitcher so bad. Like,
are you scared or are you scared? Get in the box. Make them throw to you.
I know. I want to. I don't live they live in South Carolina. I'm from Maryland. So like, whatever. We did hit one time, like a couple years ago off the baseball machine, and I was able to hit it. But I'm like, I want to see like what this hype is about, and I want to do it. But yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. All right. Well, if you could tell younger Rachel that she went to Liberty playing for a mid-major, but she's 2 wins away from playing in Oklahoma City, what do you think she would say?
I think that she would just be in awe. Like, I think she would be like, you're joking, but that's cool. And I think that she'd be like, how did that happen? But I think she'd be super excited, because I think a big reason why I chose Liberty and to like be here was to like leave a legacy and to change a program. And I think like even just senior high school me, like to look at the career I had and like what's happened at this program, like I think I would just be just super proud and like, I don't know, like speechless, honestly.
Yeah. That's as you've earned that, which is really, really cool. And even seeing what you've done in conference too, having been in the ASUN and Conference USA, you're back-to-back conference champions, like those types of things must be great confidence boost too, but also part of that legacy that you're wanting to leave.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun for sure. For sure.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. You have anything else, Jenna?
No, I mean, just loving talking to Rachel in general. I'm like soaking everything up and hearing all of this. It's so great.
You guys are awesome too. Amanda, I used to go to Florida games all the time when I was younger. Like I think there's a picture of me and you somewhere, and I have
God,
like,
please find it.
And I think I have one with I was there when Hannah Rogers was playing, and Kelsey Stewart and all of them, and I would do the camp. So like this is kind of like I'm like fangirling a little bit.
Oh my God. Well, I'm fangirling over you. Your interview is like replaying in my head a million times, and your sweet swing. But it has been so much fun to watch you compete. Yeah. You have such big fans in us, and we cannot wait to watch you play. Your whole team, we cannot wait to watch you guys compete this weekend. Have so much fun. Soak it all up. You guys have earned every moment. So know that you deserve to be there. I know you guys are going to act like it because it's a fact. So let's keep going and have so much fun.
Thank you so much. This has been fun. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
She's awesome. We say that every week, whoever we talk to, because they are all awesome though.
Yes, she was so awesome, so fun to watch. Loved hearing about her dingers statement in her interview, and so excited to keep watching her compete this weekend.
I totally agree. And just the mindset, I love getting a sense of what that is for Liberty right now. I meant to mention to her too, I actually interviewed her teammate, Savannah Watley, back in Clearwater earlier this year. So now months ago at this point. And she said, when I asked her, what do you want people to know about this Liberty program? She was like, we're not done. And she also said, other people might be surprised, but we're not going to be surprised at what we do.
I loved the resurfacing of that interview, Jenna. Like when I saw that you reposted it and I watched it, I was like, oh, so good. That's so good. Like, and it's true. Like, and you could sense that in the interview too, of just how they are not shocked. There's a little sense of relief just because they've been so close for so many years, but they've been working like this is the goal for a long time. They've believed it. Like they knew that this is where the program deserved to be. So it's really fun to see that come to fruition and then to hear her talk about it.
I agree. It was awesome. Loved it, as we do every week, but a little extra special, I think, this time too.
For sure.
And some really special plays. I mean, come on, so many to choose from, but we do have our plays of the week.
Oh, there were so many. Like, I really felt like we could just put together a highlight reel from the regionals because there was just so many. And like, I mean, I was at the Clemson game when Northwestern turned a triple play in front of my eyes, and that's still not my play of the week. Like, that's crazy. Right. And I think there were multiple triple plays this weekend. So, but I did preface this with a little bit of a sorry when I sent this to Jenna as our beloved Stanford alum. But
Which I appreciate. But
I had to choose a huge offensive moment. Some would say the biggest offensive moment for the Oregon Ducks this weekend. We'll let it play.
As Patman, after the walk of Cox. Infield comes in. Winning run, 60 feet away. Fly ball, left field, and it's gone! Oregon walks it off! Desiana Patman, are you serious?
Just epic. Like, Des Patman, obviously swinging at the first pitch, walk-off 3-run home run. Incredible moment. Like, the crowd was insane. And I think like alumni also like stormed the field right after, which was, I've never seen that done before. Like, that was cool. Just like an insane atmosphere, a huge swing. You know, I love me some offense, but a fearless hack at the first pitch to end the game and send your squad to super regionals. So huge claps for Des. That was just beautiful. So much fun, but also like huge swing from Des, but also felt like the most unreal team moment and
totally
so fun to watch. Obviously Paige Sinicki starting off that inning and finding her way to third and just making stuff happen. But gosh, it was so awesome. So awesome, Des.
I mean, yeah, electric. Like, obviously the alum in me was like, oh, crushed.
Totally.
But the softball lover in me was like, I mean, that is cinema. Epic. You know, like that is incredible. And I've never seen anyone rush a softball field either. I do remember kind of back and forth when I was in school, Stanford and Oregon football sort of had this rivalry. And I think we both would rush each other's fields, like if we would beat the other one. So it did kind of bring me back to that, which was, you know, that old Pac-12 tie. But the fact that they just had high energy from start to finish that entire day, which is hard to do. They really did. And of course their fans helped.
Yeah. There's a lot on their plate.
Yeah. I mean, to do what they did, which Stanford essentially the 17 seed, if that existed, right? To be a tough number 2. Of course, Nebraska, we talked about Virginia Tech, some of these other number 2 seeds throughout the country. But that was tough. And they just never doubted, you know, and that's like we've said, that's what you got to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, she was a 2-time transfer, by the way. She was at like New Mexico State and North Carolina A&T and found a home at Oregon, but also like, okay, mid-major transfer coming in, making some noise in the Power Conference. I love that. Yeah. So I went defensive, which, you know, it's on brand for both Amanda and I today, which is fine. And I guess I'll describe this as Ole Miss staying on their toes, literally, with this double play. So let's watch.
2-2 slapped and diving stop. Did the foot hit third? No. What a catch by Lansdell, who has been as important as anyone for the Rebels tonight.
That might have been a double play.
I thought she might have touched third.
Yep. And what did I just say about leading off? I'm being serious. I don't know if I would have let off at all if I'm Savannah Kirk here. There's really no reason to. This is what you need to avoid. Sports Center top 10 nominee, you bet. Yeah, that's a double play, I think.
I think she knew what she was doing, too.
I mean, just absolutely iconic. Third baseman Ashton Lansdale making the play. Just, again, like you said, I saw so many other cool moments. I saw Florida State turn to triple play this weekend too, for example, but this was just too crazy not to pick.
Yeah, I'm so glad you chose this play. I love this play. And that Ashton is actually somebody who's not been consistently in their starting lineup. She's played a little bit of outfield here and there, transfer over from FIU. And she has totally been unreal and so elite over at third base, especially the last couple weeks. She's had unreal defensive plays for the Rebels. So fun to see her just shine. I actually have done home run derby X's with Ashton a little bit. So have some experience over at MLB home run derby X's with her. She's so awesome. She's so fun to be around. And I knew her a little bit before her going over to Ole Miss, and she was so excited about the opportunity to play in the SEC and get that opportunity. And so to see her shining this way on the biggest stage is so fun, so deserving. And it's so cool to see her grind her way and be consistent and find her way in the starting lineup and then be such a difference maker. Like she's been absolutely a difference maker for them over at third base, like especially over the last couple weeks when it mattered the most, like at the SEC tournament and here now, like she's making some unreal plays. So I'm excited that we get to see more of Ashton Lansdale playing third base in a super regional.
You're right. Multiple plays that were insane at third base this season, but that's so cool. I love that you have that personal tie. She has a cool background just with USA Baseball and the Savannah Bananas. Like such a cool person to have in our sport too at the college level. I love it.
Yes. And I put the pressure on her. I was like, okay, softball or baseball? Like which one? She's like, so different. She wouldn't even give an answer of just like what I think she really deep down, she loves baseball and loves playing baseball so much, but so cool that she's also found this love for softball and has learned how to play and be really elite as well.
Yeah. So not easy to do, especially from a hitting perspective, but just the speed of the game with everything, not easy to do. And you said another transfer from a mid-major school doing big things at a power school. Love it.
Yes.
So good. Well, tons of great wins this week, tons of great plays this week, but we do have our official win and whiff of the week as well.
Again, so many wins, not as many whiffs, but for our win of the week, I'm going to put it up and talk about it a little bit. But we have Liberty's first super regional appearance.
Get the job done.
Payoff is on the way. Swing and a miss. Ball game over. Liberty breaks through. It does the unthinkable. It knocks out the #1 overall seed and is moving on to its first ever super regional.
Chills, just they're advancing to their first ever super regional, knocking off the #1 seed for the first time ever in a regional. Just really incredible and so excited for that program and Coach Dr. Dot Richardson. And I'm really speechless with it. And it was so fun to watch them celebrate. And just like so much joy. They really deserved that moment, but huge win of the week, the win of the week. Congratulations to the Liberty Flames. And we can't wait to keep watching you play.
Oh, cannot wait. And we've had Liberty in the D1 Softball top 25 for a good portion of this season, but hey, look at them already in the top 16, trying to make a run to keep going. So yes, congrats to the Flames. So good. On a less fun note, it was actually really hard to find a whiff this week. Softball was so amazing, first of all. But we did find one in Mother Nature. So we'll watch this really quick. So no audio there, obviously, but if you watched on the video version, Arkansas, for example, just one example of a few different games this past weekend where the lineups were in, we were ready to play, and then we had a weather delay. So just Mother Nature toying with us anytime we're delayed. Our delayed gratification when it comes to watching postseason softball, we don't appreciate it, basically. I know we chose an outdoor sport, but making us wait, not cool. So that's the whiff of the week.
Yes, totally a whiff, but I'm really thankful that it felt like that was the only one. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That one, and then the Tuscaloosa, Alabama and Virginia Tech had another one where like we were ready to go. Emma Lemley was starting, all these things, and it was like, and we're delayed. Lightning.
Yes,
like,
but I feel like we're used to more. So honestly, still a whiff, but we're thankful, Mother Nature, and we are thankful for only 2, and we hope that we have 0 this weekend.
Yes. So not to put ourselves on the wrong side of Mother Nature. We are still like, please, softball gods, keep it going for us. Well, my goodness, so many great games that have happened, so many more great games to come. And what's next with the D1 team? We'll be all over it, covering everything as usual. You can look at super regionals. There's a central place on the website on D1Softball.com with previews, recaps for everything that's going on from our staff. And then, of course, Eric Lopez and Victor Anderson, they got more for you on the In the Circle podcast presented by 643. Multiple guests this week. And then, Amanda and I, as we say all the time, yes, it is Mayhem and we are going to be locked in.
Absolutely.
And if you stuck around too, you do get a little bit of a treat for this one. So we do have a discount code for you. And because it is postseason, it's 25% off with the code BRACKET25. That is for all subscriptions for D1 Softball. And let me tell you, there's no better time because of all the amazing things that are happening across the board in college softball. And we have you covered. So BRACKET25, be sure to use it for your subscription. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us again. We cannot wait to be back next week because then we're going to know who's going to the Women's College World Series.
Yes, let's freaking go. Thank you guys so much for listening and have so much fun watching some really good softball this weekend.